Let's take a look at this Frosty the Snowman by Jada Toys. And welcome back, guys. It's Thomas, and boy, Christmas came early. I am super excited for this one because I still have my Scooby-Doo Jada Toy figures that I haven't opened. I'm gonna wait to open those, but man, I jumped so quick to pre-order this guy, and I haven't seen many videos of him on YouTube yet, so I think I might be one of the first to review it, which is kind of cool. I love Rankin Bass. I really do. When I think of the holidays, it goes hand in hand with Rankin Bass specials. Not just Christmas. I love the Easter specials. Peter Cottontail, one of my favorites of all time. And Frosty the Snowman's right up there with them. So I really hope this line picks up and we see more of these figures. I do love Jada's releases because they're so slow, and I don't feel like I have to buy everything at once. So this one was a lot of money. However, I do feel like it's going to be a while before we get another entry into the Rankin Bass world. So for our first one, this bigger character, Frosty the Snowman, this is perfect. Now, just looking at the box evokes so much nostalgia because if you're old enough to remember this special, then you probably did have a TV that looked like this. So back in my day, we used to have to get up and turn the dial. You know, we didn't have remotes, and at least on the TV that we had in our room, we did not have a remote. So the one in the living room did, but our TV in our bedroom, I think it was black and white. It had some knobs, not quite like this, but I love that they went with that. And then the wood paneling on the box, like an old TV, that definitely reminds me of the late 80s. So really cool. And then on either side, you just got the wood kind of motif going. And then on the back, it's an actual back of a tube television. So you can see the inputs there. Pretty neat. And yeah, so we got a big open window. We can kind of see mostly everything that's going on. Nice Frosty the Snowman there. And then we have all our goodies inside. So with that being said, I don't think there's much more to see with the box. Let's get them out. So like the Street Fighter figures, like the cereal mascots, and the Mega Man figures, you always get a cool backdrop with Jada Toys. So love the Christmas scene in the back. And once you open the package, you'll see that this piece of cardboard is separate. So maybe you can even like kind of make yourself a nice little TV display out of the box. But I think this is really cool. So it might even be cool to just take all the plastic packaging out of the box and use the TV as a display. I think that'd be pretty neat. But here is Frosty. I think he looks so good. I mean, how much detail do you need on him? He has this nice, almost pearlescent white, so it gives him a nice little shine. And his hat has the nice flower painted on. Again, not much paint on the figure, but I mean, he's all white. What do you need? It has the blue mouth, which I always thought was really unique, and the red nose. So really cool. And there's just, you know, for something so simple, this hits all the right boxes for me. I mean, this, what more do you need? I don't need anything super crazy detailed. I want it to look like it did in the cartoon, and this looks exactly like that. So I'm super happy with it just out of the box. So now, obviously, looking at this guy, you know you're not going to get crazy articulation with him, but we're going to get him in all the poses that we want. Head does not look down, but it does look up pretty well. And then the hat does spin around, so that's nice. It does have some articulation at the shoulders, which is actually pretty good. And he has some single jointed elbows. So everything moves nice and smooth, so no complaints there. And this part is actually kind of cute. You know, it's not a ball joint, it's just on a hinge. So he's just going to move from side to side. And then his legs, probably not going to get him out too far because they're going to get stopped by the end. But there's a hinge and a rocker on the ankles. So again, I don't need all this crazy articulation for a character like this. I think he's perfectly fine. So this is everything I want. And he does come with some pretty amazing stuff. So let's go ahead and check some of that stuff out. Starting off with accessories, you do get 2 open hands, and then you do get a wide grip hand and a tighter grip hand. And each one of these, assuming, holds something different. So for the wider grip hand, I'm assuming that holds the pipe, which is just super cool. So looking at this pipe, Has some nice detail on it. If my camera would focus right here. And I think that looks awesome. So a little dark inside, but has some nice etching there. And then this just kind of squeezes into that hand and holds it perfectly. So that is fantastic. And then for the tighter grip hand, assuming that holds Frosty's broom. So again, looks very cartoonish, which is exactly the way it should look, but it does have some nice detail on the broom, and then the handle is just plain brown. So let's see how that fits there. It's almost made perfectly for there. Everything is just so smooth and easy with these toys. It just looks really cool. Now we do get an alternative head, and this is before Frosty comes to life because he doesn't have the magic hat yet. Unfortunately, my head there does have a little bit of a blemish, but I'm probably never going to have him in this position. He's always going to be alive, at least on my shelf. But I love the peg hole there because then you can just stick the pipe in. So how cool is that? Really awesome. There's adult figures that should come with like cigars or cigarettes. They still don't do. But this, which is made for kids, he comes with his little pipe. So just find that fascinating. And what's really cool is that alive Frosty actually does have the ability to hold his pipe as well. So if you wanted to use that in his mouth, you could, or you can put it in that alternative hand. Now, Jada Toys does always do a good job of fitting in some cloth goods when they can. So really cool. He has his red scarf. It's wired, so you can pose it. If you wanted it to kind of be blowing in the wind, you could. And then we just got to take his head off and put this on him. Just to see how easy his head comes off. Oop, lost his pipe. No problem there. That goes on. Got a nice big ball joint there. And then we'll just get his head back on. Super easy. Barely had to even break a sweat. So that looks awesome. Let's give him back his pipe. Our Frosty's complete. Like, this is really... like, that's the full look with Frosty. I think he looks so good. You know, more to look at it in the light. He does have some hints of blue. That could just be my light, but whatever it is, I like it. And this guy's going to be so much fun. You know, I'd be hard-pressed to only keep him out during Christmas, so I'm going to have to find a place for him to be displayed all year. But so far, so good. Now, if I want to justify why this figure costs so much, other than the size, I'm going to have to guess because it's almost a 2-pack. Now, this isn't a full other figure, right? But it's not a solid piece of plastic. So they actually did some cool things with this character. Now, this is Hocus Pocus. I think that's his name. And he either gives Frosty the hat or he's working with the magician who's kind of the bad guy. And, you know, eventually he joins Frosty. So pretty cool. But he, again, looks exactly like he does in the cartoon, so that's pretty cool. But he looks great, and they've already done a bunny, so maybe this means we would get a Peter Cottontail. I want him to be a little bigger, though. He has some articulation. His arms are molded in, which is kind of weird, but he does have articulation at the legs, the head, and then the ears are on ball joints, so that's really cool. So you can turn his head. I think you can twist his body a little bit. It's on a ball joint there. And then his feet. So you get leg articulation and a hinge and a rocker at the feet. So if you just want to kind of hang in there, or if you just wanted to stand him up, you could do either one. So just a cute little character, and it's more than just a slug. So I think that is pretty awesome. So one of the cool things about Hocus Pocus is that you can take his head off, and then you can recreate that scene where he's stuck in the other hat. So you do get an alternative hat. And it kind of has, it's a little different. It has a curve to it, but there's a peg in there, and you just stick this in there, and you can have him kind of sticking out. So love that. You do get that little articulation on the feet, but look at that. You can just recreate that scene from the show. I think that is awesome. And that's really it, folks. You know, Jada Toys, I think between Street Fighter, Mega Man, the cereal mascots, and Scooby-Doo now, this might be my favorite company as of now, right? You know, I think we're almost done with Street Fighter, which is nice. This is a new beginning. We're just getting started with Scooby-Doo. There's so many cereal mascots I want, so they have longevity, and I love that they're doing these kind of weird brands, but Rankin Bass definitely deserves more love. So to find out that they've done such a great job at Street Fighter, now they're doing these Rankin Bass characters. I think they're going to take this line and do some amazing things with it. It'll be interesting to see if they do Rudolph with the 4 legs. I don't think we've gotten a 4-leg character from Jada yet, but I guess they better get good at it if we're going to get Scooby. I know, I forgot the Mega Man dog, but he's coming out eventually. So, hey, the world's wide open, so hopefully we start getting these. Anyways, guys, I was just super excited to get this open because I'm going on a trip tomorrow. But if you haven't been catching my live streams on Tuesday with my good friend Victor from the Gen Experience, we will be live this Tuesday, and we will be talking about our favorite Halloween or spooky toys. So not modern day. We're going to go back and talk about some nostalgic action figures or toys back from when we were kids in the 80s and for me the 90s. So hope you catch that, and hope you enjoyed this quick look at Frosty the Snowman. I am absolutely floored by how cool this is, and I really hope we do get more. So have a good one, guys, and until the next episode, catch you next time.